Hey, I'm live. What's up, guys? All right, got 7 people. 2 thumbs up already. What's up, everybody? Okay, we've already got some people talking. What's this? Um, let's see. Hey, Coach Brian, what are your thoughts on this coronavirus and how it will affect grappling training across the world, considering it's a contact sport? Um, well, guys, I was literally just before this. I was just watching um, people talk about the stock market due to the coronavirus in this issue. So yeah, it's on the mind because it's affecting so many things going on in our you know in our lives. So personally, I mentioned it on one of my last videos. Unfortunately, Jesse, one of our MMA guys, that I was supposed to be cornering him in Mexico City. He was fighting for Combate Americas. He was not able to fight. They shut the whole show down. Nobody's traveling to Mexico City. As you guys know, there's like a complete panic and things are on lockdown, dude. People aren't traveling. So a lot of events are getting canceled. A lot of stuff was announced today. IBJJF, as far as I know, I don't think it's canceled. Depends, but I think that they're going to either cancel it. If maybe you guys know, or I heard it was going to be like limited, like no fans or something. I don't know. So that's what they're doing for the NC2As. I hear the NC2As are just they're gonna have like a few family members and coaches, obviously, but it's not gonna have all the fans in there. It's gonna be very different this year for the NC2As. That's if they don't shut the whole thing down, which I don't think they're gonna do, but it's gonna be different. So yeah, um, it's crazy. This weekend, I'm supposed to be coaching at a wrestling tournament. Guess what? Shut down. Just a normal freestyle wrestling tournament. It's our first one of the year. Um, can't do it. Just at a high school that's about an hour away. We're not going to be able to have a wrestling tournament there. So I just told the coach that puts on the tournament, I'm like, hey, send everybody over to my gym. We'll just wrestle. We'll have a practice. He hasn't responded, but um, guys, it's just nuts. It's affecting so many people. So just reading down low, David says the coronavirus kills less people than the flu every year. All my professors agree with me as well. It's all media. Yeah, that's my opinion as well. I'm not afraid at all. I think a lot of people, it's just mass panic caused mostly by the media. In my opinion, again, I'm not an expert, but that's my feel. That's my opinion. I know that there's definitely people being affected, but from what I can, you know, from what I can tell, people just don't understand the numbers that there are, how many, what, 7.5 billion people in the world? We've got like 7.5 billion, and there's something like, I think last I checked, it was like 4,300, 400 people have died. Worldwide, guys, that's like very, very little. I mean, it's very, very little. But again, I'm not a health professional, and I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But from what I can tell, I think it's a lot more dangerous to walk outside your house every day. You could get struck by lightning. You could get hit by a car. There could be a drive-by shooting. You can get killed a lot of ways. And I think 4,400 people or whatever it is very low. I know it's been a short time. Some people say just give it more time. It's gonna go up, but I think it sounds like it's just like a flu. So that's my best take on it. So all right, let me get to some other questions. Let me get to next one. McMaster says G. LaBelle was known for biting. Thinking to myself, as bad as that is for your health in a life and death situation, if I had somebody in a seatbelt and took a bite, who's going to push me away? Don't understand what he means. And lose an ear. Um, I don't really understand your question, Luke. What do you mean? Um, as bad as it is for your health in a life and death situation, yeah, you could bite somebody. If I had somebody in the seatbelt and took a bite, I don't understand this. Who's going to push me away and lose an ear? Oh, uh, yeah, I still don't really get what you mean. Yeah, you could bite an ear if you're in a life death situation. Guys, you should train jujitsu so you just have to choke him out. Why bite his ear and get all bloody and then risk infection? And it's just ridiculous. Just choke the guy out. So, sure, if you really need to, bite him. So this brings me to this other subject. It just racks my brain. All the people on the comment section. If you guys remember the 350-pound guy I did the guillotine defense with, you know, unfortunately, guys, he moved out of California, so I'm not going to have him on another Teach Me Grappling episode. But everybody's like, strike him in the balls, hit him in the balls, and I'm like, oh gosh, people just don't get it. So they go, yeah, but in a real street fight, I'll strike for the balls. I'm going, guys, you just don't get it. I mean, it is possible, but biting, eye gouging, ball striking, it's all possible. Is it likely to end the fight? Not really, guys. That's not what happens. You try to eye gouge somebody, you might hurt his eyes, and he's going to fight you. And there's going to be punches thrown, there's going to be things thrown, there's going to be grappling, there's going to be all kinds of shit. And it's not like you just poke him in the eyes and the fight's over. That's just not what happens when things are real. And if it does happen, well, guess what? That guy is so non-combative that you probably could have hit him with anything. So if a guy drops because you hit him in the balls, you probably could have hit that guy with anything and he would have dropped. Other than the few scenarios where you hit the exact perfect spot. All right, that's my little rant. Let me move on. All right. We've got the NBA just suspended their season. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, guys, it's crazy. This mass hysteria is nuts. Stock market is going down, but I'm tend to day trade a little bit on the side, so I'm not too worried. There's plenty of things that are it's volatile enough to trade and still make some money off the stock market. During this time, it's actually a great time for people that trade the market. Long-term investors, not so much, but unless you're just getting in because you got a load of cash. So, what's up, Coach? You've been doing these videos on double legs. Okay, David. Yeah, David, I just saw your comment. Okay, so I do read comments. You've also had videos on double leg lifts and slams. You plan on showing when the best time is to lift as opposed to side shuffling to finish. Yes. I do not plan on a video. I will do one. I mean, if you guys just keep asking for stuff, eventually I'll get to everything that's on your mind. I don't mind doing that at all, but I can try to help you with words. Um, double legs. I always say you lift a double leg, guys, when you can lift. When lifting is possible, you lift. In other words, if you shoot a double leg and a guy doesn't sprawl hard enough or get his hips low and you can get under someone's center of gravity, it is almost almost always, to lift. In a fight, I'd much rather lift. If I can end the fight with a slam, I'd much rather do that than have to drag him down to the floor and pass his guard and then choke him out. So it's always better to just finish really quick with a nice big slam. And it usually pays big dividends in the fight. Even if you don't knock a guy out, like I said earlier, you may not kill a guy with striking the balls or gouging his eyes. You also may not finish the fight right away with a slam, although I still think a slam is much more likely. But it pays dividends. You weaken his mind. You do damage, physical damage, and you take the fight someone quick with a good slam. So anyway, so when you can, you do that. If you can't, then you better run your feet and shuffle and take him down that way. No attorneys focus on community level grappling. And for God's sakes, wash your hands and clip your nails. Yeah, definitely. trained in hazmat suits. Yeah, that's hilarious. So, coach, how do you get an MMA fight as an amateur? Well, Preston, in California, we have a commission. So not every state does, guys. It's in some places it's still the Wild West. Um, what I mean by that is there's no commission in some states, or they do not govern amateur. I would think that most of them do now. I'm sure that not all 50 states have commissions. Um, so in the state of California, where I'm from, we have one that's we have CSAC, California State Athletic Commission, which is for professionals, and then we have another governing body that's below them, which is called CAMO, which stands for California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization. And CAMO in California is the governing body for amateur, and everybody's kind of under the umbrella of the state of CSAC, but CAMO runs it, and you just go to their website and you can like fill out a form. You can apply for your license. They pretty much give it to everybody. You know, as long as you're a healthy human being, you're gonna have to go through the basic stuff, blood work, so on, physical form, whatever you got to get, and then you know, you talk to a promoter. When you put yourself there, sometimes you'll even get contacted by promoters, and you know, there's always going to be events going on somewhere. You get a hold of these events, get a hold of the promoter, let them know you want to fight, and they're going to set you up. They're going to ask you what you weigh, and you're going to get set up with a fight at some point. Trust me, it's not that difficult. There is definitely a little bit of paperwork and like I said, all the medicals you got to go through, which isn't very fun, especially in the state of California. It's pretty tough. Like for a professional, it's like $700-800 just to get your medicals done. So your first fight, you might make $700-800, $1,000, and you'll be spending all your money that you made on your own medicals for that fight that you're fighting in. It's a lovely world. So not very glamorous at the low levels. Okay, coronavirus. Okay, Tom Hanks and his wife got it. That's what I heard. Somebody told me that. I think that was on maybe on my Facebook feed. Well, let's see what happens. Tom Hanks is not a spring chicken, but I have faith that he'll probably be okay, more than likely. You know, if you look at the odds are most people are surviving this thing. So, hey, coach, do you think wrestling or judo is better for MMA no-gi? Is wrestling or judo is better for MMA no-gi? Is wrestling really better, or is it just so prevalent due to it being so popular in America? Okay, good question. No. Guys, I'm sorry if you do judo. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I think judo's great. I think it's great. Wrestling's better. Um, she asked me the question. Wrestling's better. It just is. It's very simple. Wrestling doesn't use a gi. We're a no gi. So, of course, wrestling's better for MMA. Anytime you change, especially you change the gi, you just take the gi off, you are reducing judo's effectiveness significantly. Now, wrestling and judo share many throws. The majority of the throws are all done both gi and no gi. But no gi grapplers, in this case wrestlers, know how to apply it a lot better than judo guys do. Judo guys actually have much better hips most of the time, but without the understanding of the underhooks, the overhooks, the collar ties, the inside ties, the elbow controls, the forearm hooks, the over ties, without all that understanding, which they don't do, guys, in judo, they are not working on those things. They are working on grips. They are grip fighting. And in wrestling, we hand fight. In judo, it's grip fight. In wrestling, it's hand fighting. It significantly changes the game. So it's not that wrestling's better than judo. It's that wrestling is better than judo when there is no gi involved. And that's pretty obvious. I would never be better with a gi on than judo. I would never say that. So that's it. That's the reason. But it is true that there is more popularity, it's more popular to be a wrestler. But Judo has submissions. So you could say, hey, man, Judo guys got submissions. Maybe it's not the main focus all the time, but they have submissions. So they have a leg up on the wrestlers. But the wrestlers, the key thing is the biggest thing. So anyway, moving on. Grunt Bear. Kirk, that's funny. Not a serious threat level. Back to the panic of the COVID-19. Anyway, bro, why are you doing a Q&A so late? Andrew. This is when I do it. Oh, almost always, guys. This is early for me. I'm getting home, guys, from the gym, maybe 10:30, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I try to upload my videos around this time, guys. I don't have much time left. I got to do a little bit of, eating, showering, all that stuff, and get ready for bed, prepare to wake up early and do my thing. So okay. I think I already answered that one. Don't think the media would push an economic shutdown. Just a thought. Yeah, exactly. Just take precautions. No reason to panic. Can you talk a little about gripping and nogi? Jay Lee asks. What's up, Jay? I've been doing gi primarily and arm struggling with grip controls. Yeah. Guys, gripping in the gi is really important. It's really important in no-gi too. So of course, having a good grip helps. I think the biggest problem that you're going to have is you don't know how to grip the joints. So in the same way as in the gi, how you look for certain grips in order to pull, you learn how to put your forefingers inside on the lapel, on the collar. You have to learn the grips in nogi, how to grab onto a tricep. So right here, like you have to know how to do this, like how to make a tight grip here, and elbow control. How to hold the elbow, how to use your thumb and grip it. I think most people collar ties, how to hold the collar, how to keep your elbows. They just don't know how to make the grip exactly. So I really need look at me, I'm trying to grip on my own arm to show you, but I'm gonna have to do a video on that, like just showing a lot of the I was thinking about that, just doing ultra basic tie-ups, just teaching guys the basic tie-ups, inside hook grip, inside post, elbow controls, wrist controls, both directions, reverse and regular, collar ties, forearm hook, okay, over tie, which is like a collar tie over the top of your opponent's collar tie. So these are all like your most basic, tie-ups. There's more, but you want to know how to do these, and you have to know how to grip them so that you can control your opponent and they can't get away so easily. You know, it's important. You got to know how to make contact. So I know Jay, this may not be um, very beneficial, but there's something on that. So, all right. I'm gonna skip all the coronavirus stuff, guys. Again, I already talked a little bit about it. It's not like I'm an expert on it. Yeah, I think it's a lot of hype, a lot of panic set in from the media. Howdy, what happens when you get sick? Oh, considering you run your own gym, I imagine you can't just call in sick. Yeah, Xavier, actually, I can. I can just call one of my brown belts. I got lots of brown belts. I can always call them up and say, hey, can you teach class for me? I'm really sick. So I actually can do that at a drop of a hat, pretty much. I got a lot of guys that support me. I appreciate all my students that do. Even down to a blue belt can open up the gym sometimes and take care of business because I've got so many supportive students. So it's really nice. So, all right. My audio seems to not be in sync. So I'm sorry if it's not in sync. Hopefully it works. Hopefully you guys can hear. Any advice on escaping north-south? You did a video or two on the north-south choke, but not really escaping the position in general. Yeah, I owe you guys a north-south escape video. There's lots of good ones. Again, I'm not like I would say like the first thing on the top of my head, you've got like swinging side to side to create space. You can frame and then turn towards your knees and turtle. You can push and slide down, bring your legs up and try to put your hooks in, which a lot of times leads into an arm drag attack. I like. Um, anyway, there's a few that come to mind for north south choke or north south position. So I'll do a video on that soon. Thanks for the idea. I sound like Justin Gaethje. Thank you. I don't know what he sounds. I actually don't even watch MMA enough to even know what Justin Gaethje sounds like. So anyway, Nate Clark, focus on the grips, then the hips. You'll escape any choke if you work harder than your opponent. Yes. Okay. I lost my spot. I lost my spot. Okay. Is it better to be really tall for wrestling or really short? It doesn't matter, guys. It really just depends on you. If you're really tall, but you don't know how to use your body type, it's not good. If you're really short, but you don't know how to use your body type, it's not good. Same thing, vice versa. If you guys know how to use your body type, you can do really well in wrestling. A lot of people think that wrestlers are short and stocky. It's not true, guys. I was just telling somebody this yesterday. The classic wrestling build is more of a lanky build. It's more like what people say like jiu-jitsu build. So the majority of wrestlers are lanky in general. Now they're lanky, but they also have some muscle. So it's not like I'm not saying they're bean poles with no muscles on them, but you know, you you are not just every guy is a short little midget, But when people look at someone, maybe this I use the word midget. The guy, who am I thinking of? Chad Mendes in the UFC. They look at someone like Chad Mendes or little Frankie Edgar, and they think they're all short and stocky like that, but they forget that John Jones is a wrestler and he's like the tallest guy and most reach. There's guys like that a lot, and at the high school level, there's just a ton of those lanky guys. They're all over the place. So obviously, as you move up in weight class, you tend to get guys that are beefier. But down at the lighter weights, man, those guys are cutting weight and they're skinny as hell. So yeah, so it's up to you. You got to play your style. If you're lanky, you got to use your length. You got to kind of use leverage a little bit more. You can reach around. You can reach things a lot easier. Guys that are tall love ankle picks and cradles and such. And guys that are short, they can get under your center of gravity very easily. They can crouch down. They almost don't even have to touch a knee when they take shots. They can level change and get in real easy. Tall guys don't like to level change because they have to get their body in a very uncomfortable position to get underneath. So yeah. So Grunt says, yeah, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. That's always a great quote. So, all right, what do you trade? Options, Kirk asks. Yeah, I mean, I trade options every now and then. I definitely was in a few option trades that didn't do so well before the coronavirus thing hit. So definitely that screwed up the calls, my calls. But it's all about the puts right now. And then you can also do some calls on some things that have been hit pretty hard for some small bounces. But you can do that. Yeah. But mostly I'll trade stocks and maybe some ETNs. So anyway, what are your thoughts on the coronavirus affecting MMA events? Again, guys, I like it sucks. It's crazy. We don't know how long this is going to be. Anybody who says they know is just giving their opinion. I have an opinion. I don't think it's going to last uh, shorter than a month. I don't think it's going to last more than 6 months. I don't. That's my best opinion. So I think we're going to be able to handle this thing within 6 months. I'm no expert, so I'm just throwing shit out there that I think. So, but I definitely don't think we're gonna overcome this in the next couple weeks. So this is just the beginning, I think. It's It's just barely really hitting us bad. Like tomorrow's market, the stock market is going to be horrible tomorrow. So it is going to be really bad tomorrow. So which is great for you people that are trading Schvix. How's your house post fire? Yeah, smell is almost gone. It's still a little there, but it's not too bad. Anyway, I'm recovering from shoulder surgery from dislocations. Do you know any grapplers who have had shoulder surgery and how going back to work, how it going back worked for them? Um, I don't have a lot that has shoulder surgery. You know, I don't think I can give you any really good information, Justin. Sorry. Uh, yeah, I don't. I mean, I've had a bad shoulder every once in a while, but it's basically come back. I don't know. I just rested, but yeah, I'm sorry. I don't really have good answer for you. I have a high school kid that had shoulder surgery, but he's not back yet. I mean, like, hopefully he'll be back next season. He had to take a long time off, like a year. So it was bad for him. So hope you feel better soon, Justin. So, all right. Thoughts on the upcoming Nurmagomedov Ferguson bout? We all know Nurmagomedov's intentions with ground and pound and threat of possible submission, but what window of opportunity do you see Tony has when resorting to off his back? All right, I'm going to give you guys an opinion. I've been thinking about this fight for a while. Okay. Now, let me start by saying this. I have bet against Tony many times. And when I say bet, I don't mean placing real bets. I just mean I have picked many of Tony's opponents over him. And if Tony heard me say that, he might be upset with me. Or he might laugh because he proved me wrong. But my point is, I haven't always believed in Tony. There was a long time when I thought he was too wild. I thought he needed to settle down and get a little bit more polished with his technique and not be so wild. But the thing is part of what makes Tony great is he's wild as fuck. So Tony, one of his weapons is being wild. So you know what? Let Tony be Tony. I have bet against him many times and I've been wrong. Tony's proven me wrong. So, having said that, I think that fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to be a very daunting task. I don't think Tony's going to be able to do it. I don't think that the way he's going to do it. So when people ask this, they go, what window of opportunity do you see Tony has when resorting to off his back? I don't see it, guys. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. It's possible Tony can throw some elbows from the bottom, cut Khabib open and frustrate him and maybe scramble back up. It's possible that he could hit some type of triangle or armbar. It's possible. Is it likely? No. It's not likely. I don't see Tony winning from his back. I respect 10th Planet, guys. I respect Eddie Bravo. But I do not think Tony possesses that style of game that is going to catch Khabib Nurmagomedov from his back. In my opinion, the way that Tony can win is part of a little bit of wild Tony. We need some wild Tony. If we're on Team Tony, we need Tony to be wild like he always is. We need him to not give a fuck. And we need Tony to strike using his, kind of funky off timing striking, his crazy elbows, his spinning shit, his ability to take a punch and give one. And we need Tony to wrestle and not get taken down to his feet. I don't see Tony taking down Khabib and doing much with it. If he does, I think Khabib is much more polished with his wrestling and he can scramble better and win top positions. Tony's a funky dude. and he will roll all over the place and flip all over the place. They definitely can hit some scrambles, and I can see Tony getting some good positions. Some people ask about the Dars. You know, if Tony's going to hit a submission, it probably would be a Dars. Likelihood, I think, is pretty low. Again, I think he's much more likely to knock Khabib out. If he can catch him with a shot and rock him, he can TKO him in a crazy scramble. He could achieve the top position for a little bit and again get wild with his elbows and his punches and catch him. I think most likely it would happen on the feet. That's what I think. That's my assessment. Who do I think is going to win? I think Khabib's going to win. I do not think Tony's going to be able to stop the takedown forever. And I think Khabib has a very simple plan once he gets in the clinch of pushing you to the fence, wearing you out, and taking you down. And I think he's pretty damn effective at doing that. Now, if I was coaching Tony, I would have Tony really work, obviously, a lot on escaping against the fence, striking while he's grappling in the stand-up position, and then taking the center of the cage, not getting pushed against the fence in the first place. Effective striking, I do think, obviously, Khabib's gotten better, but if he's got a weakness, it is on his feet, and he can be caught. So he can be caught with strikes. He does a great job. He's very good, but he's definitely not the best on his feet. And although I do not think that Ferguson is the best on his feet, I think with his style, I think he presents a problem for anyone on his feet. Again, he can take a punch and he can return. And if he can take a punch and return fire, he's got a shot. So that's what I think. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Anyway, are there specific submissions that just work better against big, tall opponents? You know, it's yeah, I mean, guys, I like choking people. So if I could choose, I love the rear naked choke. I like guillotines. You know, I like north south choke. I like darces. I like chokes. Although I'm not worried at all about hitting, you know, omoplatas and kimuras and things like that and arm bars. I love doing that too, but I think that I would basically try to get to a guy's back. And when I think of a big, tall opponent, I usually have an easier time choking those guys because they're anyway. I'm gonna try to move on. So yeah, I keep losing my spot on these questions, guys. I'm trying to get to the guy. Trying to get in order. I know we've got like a ton of questions now, and I may not be able to get to everything. So I'll try to do what I can. Okay. You learn by experience. Trust me. It's just okay. For self-defense, in which field should I go? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is great. You've got to know how to operate on the ground. Judo is still great too. Learning your stand-up part is a big part of it. Again, at a school like mine, guys, I think that my guys are more prepared for self-defense than any jiu-jitsu school or judo school because we work on both. We're doing the ground part and the stand-up part in our classes. And then we also teach some striking as well to mix it in. But I do think that you need to work on mixing striking with grappling. You can't just be one-sided. But if you were going to be one-sided, I would pick grappling over striking for self-defense. I think that is more important. I think that people gloss over it. They watch too much of high-level MMA and active jiu-jitsu is and grappling is when most people don't know striking. So how many cups of water do you drink a day? I honestly don't even pay attention, Andrew. I drink when I'm thirsty. I would estimate that I might drink maybe 8 cups. But guys, it depends on what your activity level is. If you're working out a lot, you need to drink more. So, but I drink when I'm thirsty. You have any experience run-ins with people like Mark Hatmaker or Tony Caccini? No, other than okay, Joe Friday. I've heard of Mark Hatmaker. I've seen a couple clips, a couple videos. I used to have a student like 16, 17 years ago that said he used to like either train with him or maybe he was just learning from the videos. And I think he was just probably learning from the videos. And so I have seen a couple things from him. Tony Caccini, I have seen Tony Caccini videos from way back in the day when I believe it was World Martial Arts, if I'm not mistaken. It, I don't think it was Panther Productions, but whatever. I've seen his old videotapes. Tony Caccini. I don't have any experience with them personally. And again, guys, I'm a pretty open book. I usually tell people what I think. Remember, when I do this, I'm bound to hurt someone's feelings. If you ask me my true opinion, uh, I don't think Tony Caccini knows exactly what a lot of people give him credit for knowing. In other words, like him being a catch wrestling, uh, let's just call him um, master, whatever, a master of catch wrestling. Um, he obviously knows some stuff, but I I've not forgotten the techniques that I saw him teach on his videos, and that led me to believe that there's a little bit of foo-foo shit going on. Anyway, but that to be honest, guys, there wasn't too many catch wrestling guys back then that ever put out anything that was worth much. Most of it was a lot of garbage. So, but that's the catch wrestling past, and I know that I'll be hurting the feelings of catch wrestlers out there, but it's true, guys. Catch wrestling has evolved in this last 20 years quite a bit. Um, Techniques have been evolved, even though there's not many people doing it. It's let's just say techniques are borrowed from MMA, borrowed from jiu-jitsu, borrowed from modern wrestling, and things are being always rewritten. But so is jiu-jitsu. So it's not like they're the only ones. But what I'm saying is, back in the day, the catch wrestling that was coming out on videos back in the day was very crude. It was very rudimentary wrestling, submission grappling style, and most of it wasn't very good. So I think it was highly outdated, and they have upgraded in recent times. But and you've got guys like Josh Barnett that have done a good job promoting that name and flying that banner. Um, Other names that come to mind are help me out, Randy Couture guys, Randy Couture's guy, Neil Melanson. So Neil has been kind of flying the catch name as well a little bit. I've noticed, and he from when I watch from him, he's very legit, and I would definitely want to learn from him if I was you. And I think when you learn from Josh Burnett, you learn from Neil Melanson. I've also seen that other big, strong dude who always flies the catch wrestling banner. I don't know his name, but I'm sure you guys have seen him if you're into catch. And I've seen that guy. He's got some decent stuff. I think again, a lot of it's maybe a little outdated, but when you're a big, strong guy, you can make a lot of moves work. So me being a smaller guy, that's one reason why I think that I have favored jujitsu a little bit more. But I've never left wrestling, guys. So I am a wrestler through and through. So I've never left wrestling. I think using them both is the best combination. I think that the jiu-jitsu guys out there have the best submission game by far. When it comes to submissions, guys, you just can't compete. None of the other styles, I don't care, sambo, judo, catch, they can't compete with jiu-jitsu when it comes to submissions. What they can compete with jiu-jitsu is the takedown game, where most jiu-jitsu guys tend to be weaker in the takedown area. And so if you're a sambo guy, you're going to have better takedowns. If you're a judo guy, you're going to have better throws, takedowns with the gi, of course. Um, but most catch wrestlers, unless they come from an amateur wrestling background, um, even the catch wrestlers that I've seen, I don't think they have very good takedowns unless they have amateur wrestling background. Because the sport of catch wrestling just is not it's not a thing. Like you have tournaments every now and then. But it's I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, guys, but if you're into catch, but it's not really a thing. Like there isn't a national championship that's going on every year. There's not like regional tournaments. There's not in a state championship in every state. It's not like what's going on in the amateur wrestling circuit where we have a full system and or judo or sambo or anything like that, which are even smaller than wrestling. At least they still have their sport that's going. I mean, catch wrestling is more like it's every once in a while. So anyway, I guess I crapped on it. Sorry. How long should I train in BJJ to defend myself? It's all relative, Kane. It's all relative. Everything's relative. How long? When I hear stuff like that, guys, I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but everything's relative. Who are you up against? You're going to fight somebody on the street that played college football. And, how long is it going to take for you to train BJJ to defeat this college football player? Shit, I don't know, maybe 5 years. It depends on your school. It's all relative. How good is your coach? How much do you train? Do you train every day? Do you train striking with it? Do you train wrestling with it? Judo with it? Are you learning catch wrestling with it? Guys, it's all relative. None of that ever makes any sense. The question cannot be answered. It's the same thing as how long does it take me to get a blue belt? Guys, some places it's 6 months. Sometimes I take 5 years to give out a blue belt because the guy just doesn't learn very good, learn very fast. Some guys can learn really quick. So I'm sorry, but I don't have a good answer for you. To defend yourself, it depends on against what. If you're fighting a bear, you're gonna have to train a lifetime of BJJ, and you're still not gonna win. Sorry, I'm just trying to make jokes. Hope you liked it. I heard you can catch herpes on the mat. Is that true? Sounds crazy. Misfit asks. Yes, you can catch herpes on the mat. It is possible. It's rare, really, really rare, but it is possible. So every once in a while, there is a case of herpes that is contracted. And in the sport of wrestling, tournaments, will get shut down and people will get it happens every once in a while. Rare, very rare. But we had a situation in California not that long ago where a kid, I believe, got herpes, and the parents tried to shut down the state championships. It didn't happen, but it happened in California a couple years ago. So moving on. Coach, when are you going to have a wrestling camp for people over 40? I have a wrestling camp in the summer. If you guys are over 40, you're welcome to come. But there is mostly high school kids and youth there. There's a few adults, but mostly kids. Oh, I probably won't be having a camp, but hey, you know what? That's something we could do. But we got to get enough interest, guys. I can't run a camp and then have, 2 40-year-olds show up. So, no, I refuse to talk to you, Coach Brian. Cool. Genuine question. What's with the whole coach thing? Why the need for the title? What's wrong with the first names? Big Boy asks. It's just kind of become my name because people call me Coach Brian all the time. It's not like I demand it. It's not like I gave myself that name. There's times where I wasn't able to get my email address with my name. So I ended up putting coach in front of it just to make it more noticeable, but or easy. People told me that for so long, just kind of stuck. I was known as Coach Brian. And so it just kind of happened. So people at my jiu-jitsu academy don't call me professor. They don't call me professor, so they just call me coach. And, it's common to say, hey, what's up, coach? And Coach Brian, whatever. So that's it. There's nothing wrong with first names. I go by Brian as well. Coach Brian, you're awesome. You've inspired a BJJ student to be humbled by wrestling grapplers. The basic of both have improved my ground game so much. Thank you for your cast. They mean a lot. A Purple Heart vet. Cool. Thank you, Grunt. What's your striking background? Um, I started out, guys, doing a little bit of Taekwondo. That was probably my first striking. I was already a wrestler, and I when I got into martial arts, my coach was actually a Taekwondo black belt. So I started doing a little bit of striking, learned a little bit about kicking. He also taught me some basic boxing. Then I went to La Colonia Boxing Gym. It's kind of a popular boxing gym in Oxnard that has made plenty of champions in boxing, notably Fernando Vargas, among others, have trained there. And so I trained a little bit of boxing at La Colonia. It's not like I was like a big time guy there, though. I'm not claiming that at all. I was just basically a regular dude going in there trying to learn how to box, and they would stick me in the ring to get beat up on by kids, basically by 16-year-old up and comers. I would go in and get the crap beat out of me by them, to be honest. But I learned a lot. So, and then the other part of my striking background is my good friend Majid Reyes. He's under Benny the Jet Urquidez. If you guys don't know Benny the Jet, he's a legend in the sport of kickboxing. He went over and fought a lot of the Thais back in the day. He has an incredible record in kickboxing, and you know he's a very famous kickboxer. To the modern day student, a lot of them aren't aware of the history of American kickboxing, so they don't know who Benny the Jet is. But anybody who's from the old school, they know who Benny is. So, and my buddy Majid is basically one of Benny's best guys in a different generation. So Benny had many waves of great strikers, great kickboxers, and Majid was one of those last waves. Benny still teaches to this day, but Majid was one of his guys. So he's one of the higher ranking Urquidez family, Urquidez system guys. And Majid taught me a whole lot about striking. So that's my background. So just in the gym in the UK, what would you say are some good strength standards for grappling? X times body weight deadlift, for example. I recommend, again, I'm not going to give you guys like how many to do or anything like that, but I'll just give you some basic exercises. Deadlifts are awesome, guys. Body weight, pull-ups. If you guys want to get stronger at grappling, do lots of pull-ups, lots of push-ups. You guys, these body weight exercises are incredible. So push-ups, pull-ups, doing deadlift with a bar or anything for that matter. Deadlifting, Olympic lifting. If you guys know how to do the clean, and if you know, the snatch, that's great too. The clean, you got to know either clean and jerk or clean and push press. Learn how to do those exercises. When you learn how to clean weight, it doesn't matter if you're lifting a couple 20-pound dumbbells. If you know how to clean those dumbbells and get used to that motion of doing a clean, it is great for explosiveness and teaching you how to lift properly. I recommend that a lot more than doing bodybuilding type exercises at your local, box gym, big gym like a LA Fitness or Gold's Gym. So work those exercises. Ego while training with partners. Please talk about ego in training. I just had this conversation tonight at my gym, guys, which I have to do every once in a while. Safety, got to have safety in mind, and your ego. It's commonly said, check your ego at the door, guys. You guys got to just like put that thing away. When I was young, my ego was there, and I did not want to tap to anything, guys. I would get my neck popped. I would get my elbow popped. I would let stuff get really stretched because I did not want to tap. Guys, that is not the way. I'm telling you what I did when I was young, and that is not the way. Now, if you have that kind of fight in you, that's a good thing to have. But please understand this lesson. You can have your ego, you can check it at the door, train, and then when you're done, you can take that ego back with you and leave. So that means when you end up in a real situation, you can use that ego and you can not give anyone anything when the time is right. But when you're in training, you have to learn how to allow yourself to just feel technique. Otherwise, you're just going to be fighting your ass off for every little thing. You're going to get in shape. You're going to get tired. You're going to get strong. All those benefits, right? But you're also going to you're not going to get the technique because you're just fighting through everything. You're not going to feel it. When you get caught in an armbar, just tap. You got caught. You're going to learn something. Then you can work on it. Now, that doesn't mean that I just give everything either. It doesn't mean that like when I get caught in armor, I don't try to get out. My ego is there like to a certain degree. Like I want to try to get out of it. I don't want to get caught, but you got to have it healthy. It's a balanced ego. So I guess it's not truly leaving your ego at the door, but you get what I mean. You've got to keep it in balance. It's got to be a balance where you're not too high and not too low. You got to have that, guys. Plus, it's going to keep you safe. It's going to keep you safe so you don't get hurt. It's going to keep your partner safe so you don't hurt them. So the worst thing in the world is somebody that's just got a huge ego and then they want to go crazy at practice and thinking they're at the world championships when they're not. Practice is a place where you should try stuff. You should enjoy training. It makes it more fun. It makes everything better. You know, once you relax, you'll start to develop. But when you're always serious, you don't even realize it. You don't even know. You're getting good, but you could get so much better when you just let that go. I want someday, I'm going to show you guys how my kids train. How I train my kids. And I always say my kids because my kids are the ones that train the hardest. They train harder than my adults. I'm sorry, adults, but they just do. Because the kids are young, they have dreams. They're training every day for 2 to 3 hours so that they can compete every single weekend. So that in itself what makes them, work harder. Those kids, watch how my kids train. I don't just make them do this. They do this, but they also do this. They flow. And it's crazy because in wrestling, people are always known to be like hardcore, and it's always jiu-jitsu guys that know how to flow. My wrestlers know how to flow. So actually, I did do a video where I show you guys one of my lightweights training with one of my heavier guys, Ben. I think it was Ben training with Jake. So if you guys watch how they move, it's important to know how to flow. Anyway, leave your ego. Pick it up later. Oh man, it's getting late already. I'm getting tired. Yeah, I'm almost up on 1 hour, guys. Gonna have to go to bed soon. The only thing I know and love is water. Okay, when one moves to a big city, what is the best way to find a good gym for a fair price? Well, guys, if you go to, obviously you just call all the gyms and find out what they're charging. If you want to be, you know, drive a hard bargain, you could try your best to kind of get the best price you can. To be honest, people who sell products don't like that. Like, I don't like it. In some ways, I feel disrespected when people try to look for deals, but I can't blame them. I get it. They're just looking for deals. So, is what it is. But I'll let you guys know I'm not gonna budge. So it doesn't hurt to ask, I guess. That's what I would do. Can you come to England and do a seminar? Sarah asks. I would love to go to England. I've never been there. I've been to France. I've been to Switzerland. Traveled through Italy just briefly, Germany just briefly. But I'd love to, Sarah. So you need to get in touch with your school, wherever you train, and have them contact me and try to figure out how they can host a seminar. Guys, I don't do a lot of seminars. It's not like I know I'm decently popular through the YouTube channel. I do have a lot of people come visit me from other countries. So I just had a gentleman today call me from Tunisia in North Africa, and he wants me to do a seminar. But I get a lot of that, but guys, nobody ends up following through. So if you guys want me to come out to your place and do a seminar, you're gonna have to do the legwork, guys. I can't be the one to do it. You're the one that's gonna have to host me. So if you really want me to come out, I would love to. I would love to help more people. Obviously, it's got to make sense financially. Um, but if you want me to, I would love to do it. So I'm definitely probably cheaper than Gordon Ryan. So, and I'm probably cheaper than Danaher. So thank you, Best Bear. So, Coach, do you know Tom Hazel? Yes, I do, Lorenzo. I know Tom Hazel. He's getting old, but he's still reffing. Last I checked, he's the one of the lead referees for like Orange County. I've known him a long time. He was coaching West Torrance High School when I was in high school, and then before that, he used to coach El Camino College. So yeah, he's a great wrestler back in the day, and national champ, and very well-known referee and wrestling coach in our community in Southern California. So Grunt Bear, I'm 5'2" and a grunt background. Play your style. Okay, yeah, I know he's talking about that earlier question about size. Some tips for mixing ground and pound and rolling. Just train it, Osvaldo. You got to train it. If you want to mix ground and pound and rolling, you're gonna have to get with somebody that doesn't mind you training and simulating strikes. That's something that we do once a week at my gym. So we do it once a week. And that's not that much, but it's better than zero. So you got to practice it. That's the only tip I can give you. Get out there and do it. Punch each other a few times. Can you catch herpes? Okay, I already answered that one. Okay, is there a fear of catching something like warts, herpes, or hep at the gym where no testing is required? My biggest fear, man. Yeah, I mean, there's not much of a fear, guys, because it rarely ever happens, but anything is possible. But you could walk outside tomorrow and catch coronavirus. So, and you probably won't die from it, but it'll probably be shitty for a little while. Make no mistake, but they don't be fearful. Every infection is caught on the mats an indefinite amount of time. Prevention is easy to use. Tea tree oil for body wash infection down 80%. Yes. Sounds good, Grunt. All right. Guys, I'm running out of time. I'm getting very tired. Man, Grunt Bear loves to comment. So, all right, Sakuraba. Don't know what that means. Oh, that might have been Todd Piercing. He might have been talking about Sakuraba when it comes to the catch wrestling guys. Yes. I know Sakuraba is kind of flies that flag as well. But Sakuraba was also an amateur wrestler. So I really put him in a different category, much like Josh Barnett. Flying the catch wrestling banner, but had an amateur wrestling background, freestyle wrestling or amateur American folk style, which I think changes it a lot. Incredible. At least so far, I have not. So, but that doesn't mean I've seen everybody. Are regular people ever condescending with you when you tell them? People always talk to me in this condescending way when I tell them I do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I don't know, Andrew. I get a lot of respect, so I don't know. I wouldn't say people talk to me in a condescending way. I wouldn't say so. I mean, everybody's ran into that at some point in their lives, but yeah, on a regular basis, I don't get that much. Thoughts on what you would change to the grappling side of MMA if fighters were fighting bare knuckles? Um, yeah, I mean, like if you're fighting with bare knuckles, guys, the striking it would drop down slightly. You would not have guys throwing punches at skulls as much. Um, It already sucks to hit a hard skull, even with a glove on sometimes. Um, you can break your hand, but without gloves, it's even crappier. So you want to make sure you hit soft tissue and crack them in the jaw, crack them in the nose, crack them in the cheek. But getting chokes is always a lot easier, guys, when you take off the gloves. Oh, you do jujitsu? Wow. So you can beat up everyone in this room. Ooh. Oh, so that's how they treat you. Guys, I don't run into people like that. I guess you know what? Back in the day I did run into people like that. See, I don't go out into places where that happens. I'm in the gym all the time, guys. So people come in the gym, automatically respect me most of the time. And if I do run into people outside, they instantly find out that I own a gym, and I think that already makes them like drop. They're like, I'm not gonna like piss this guy off. And so I don't get that much anymore. But yeah, back in the day, I did get it a little bit. Oh man, I'm not faking it, guys. I'm tired. So, man, there's a million. This is the same question every time. Thank you, Andrew. Andrew, what happens when you have to call in sick? I already answered that one. Shawn Michaels needs to calm it down. Oh my goodness. All right, I already talked about Khabib and Tony. Guys, thank you so much. All 28 of you. Anyway, we probably had maybe about 30 people in here for most of the time. Guys, thank you so much for all your support. I did my best to answer some quick questions. Guys, I didn't do a video tonight, not because of the coronavirus, but because everybody just went home. I got in a talk with some old students, and shout out to Jesse and Wheezy. And I didn't get the video shot, so that's why I did what I did tonight. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna try to do. I've got a couple more back control things I want to do, so I've got more. I got more tomorrow. I hope to bring you, and hope you guys enjoy. So, thank you guys so much. Teach Me Grappling. Please keep clicking like, sharing my videos, and I'll be back for more with more great stuff. Thank you guys. Have a good night. See ya.